So what changed your mentality when you came back to the market after taking that 2-year break?
I've always said, you know, I only bet on myself because, you know, I always win when I bet on myself, right? When I bet on other things or bet on other people or whatever, you know, you can't control that. But I can control everything that I do.
Welcome back, everybody, to Be the Trader. Today we have a special episode. We're golfing here in Austin, Texas with my man Miah Lee, who's been trading for over 10 years. And I really want to take him back today while we're golfing and talk about, you know, how you ended up taking a break after, you know, taking a, you know, to everyone's different, but to me would be a substantial loss for me when I first started. So I'd love to talk about how you were able to recover from loss and continue and grow and continue to trade 10 years later. Like, that's insane.
You're talking about when I first started?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. When I first started, and I was trading for a couple years. It was from 2012 to 2014. Yeah, I blew up a couple different accounts. So I didn't have any more money left.
Yeah.
You know, I ran out. I was still working, so I was bringing in income,
Yep.
right? But I just ran out of, you know, capital. So I took a break from trading and didn't trade for, you know, a couple years and just racked money back up, you know, at my job.
With the goal to go back?
With the goal to go back, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, I didn't know when or, you know, how I was going to do it. I had, you know, already blown up a couple accounts, struggled a little bit. So I didn't really know, you know, all the answers. I just knew that I wanted to trade. I wanted to become a trader. You
Yep.
know, I wanted to, you know, win at that game. And so I just took the time to save up some more capital. I studied the markets still. And then, you know, and then got to the point where I saved up enough to get going again. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to let you tee off here for a second.
Sure.
Nice.
That sounded like a stripe. I didn't see it.
Damn. What's interesting about your story is when you lost and you took a break, you said you lost all your capital. For a lot of people, that would just really mentally screw you.
Yeah.
So how did that feel whenever you go back to that moment where you did have to go back to work? Or did you, that was all in one moment, right? Like you lost and then you had to go back to work, or multiple accounts, then go back to work, or account blown, back to work?
No, I stayed working the whole time.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I was working the whole time. I wasn't too worried about it because, you know, I was young. You know, I was 22,
Yep.
23, and then 24 when I ended up, you know, blowing up those accounts. So I was young. In my opinion, I was thinking it's okay. It's, you know, I can get the money back and then start again.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a big mental drain. I'm not going to deny that part, but it wasn't the end of the world. You know, it's like being that young, still working and making good money at my job.
Yep.
I knew I could, you know, get that money back, you know, saving it up.
Give us perspective in terms of relativeness for people who might not have a great job. Maybe they, you know, everyone's job is different, right?
Sure.
And greatness is different for everyone. So like, just give us perspective on like, how long did it take you personally to save that relative to you? You know what I'm saying?
Couple years.
Okay, so when you end up losing that, did you go into any kind of state of like, fuck, like this is not gonna work, like this is like...
No,
really?
no, I didn't, because I put my mind to it. You know, I made a
Yeah.
lot of sacrifices to make that happen. You know, I sold my house, I sold my car, I bought a little condo, I lowered all my bills, I did everything to like manage, you know, my goals. I thought, you know, if this is a long-term goal, it's okay to make the sacrifices now and, you know, work towards that. So yeah, I sold the house. I just bought 2 years prior.
That was before you lost the money?
What's
that?
that?
Was before you took the break?
No, after I lost it, then yeah, I sold my house. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll get back on
Sold my house, sold my car. Yeah, lowered all my bills.
And you're like, I'm going at it again.
Yeah.
Commitment, man. Commitment.
This is managing the course. This is like managing your risk, dude.
That's right, managing your risk,
You know,
managing the
look how much
course.
risk you got. You got a sand trap there, one there, one there. You know, you got to lay out your distances. This is a par 5. We don't need to get there in 2. We can get there in 3 and still make birdie. It might work better just to hit from the same spots each time.
We will. It'll work
You know
way
what I mean?
better. Yep.
I
That's
mean,
where we'll start hitting from. We'll just play best ball, literally. Yeah, I didn't realize that you, once you know, initially had your initial blow up at first, that you actually went even more committed. I would think it'd be the opposite. I would think it'd be like, ah.
No, man. I did a lot of things. There's things that I didn't really talk about. I did a lot of self-improvement stuff. I wasn't really happy in my personal life too, so that's part of the reasons why I did it. I wasn't, necessarily financially stable at the time. Even though I was bringing in income, it was like I had so many bills, like mortgage, car payment, all these things, and so it was like hard to save. It was hard to really do much in my life. So yeah, I read a bunch of books, listened to a bunch of podcasts. I even went to a Tony Robbins seminar, and then I decided I'm gonna sell my house, sell my car, sell everything. I bought a little condo. I dropped all my bills by like 60%, and then I was able to save cash every month. And then that's what got me to the point where I could, refund my account.
How long did it take? Oh, 2 years.
A couple years.
Yeah. I know people are thinking to themselves, okay, well, you just started, you blew up some accounts, that's normal. But they're also probably thinking if you blew up 2 or 3, were you oversizing? What was the issue at that time? Like what, and were they like big accounts where you feel like, maybe you sized too big for a beginner at that time, or we're just curious. Now looking back.
I made all the mistakes, honestly. Sizing too big, trading setups that aren't setups really at all, trading low volume stuff, trying to trade, like Chinese scam, type of tickers. Yeah. I did all the, mistakes that you do as a, beginning trader. Plus, I didn't really have a system. I was trading everything. I was swinging big caps mainly. And then whenever I realized, hey, there's a lot more potential in small caps, I was longing a lot of these pump and dumps and getting dumped on. And so, I didn't really have a system. I was trading everything, making every mistake. Yeah,
you didn't have like a risk management system in place at the time, like a 1%
no,
loss
like
or something like that?
I mean, not really. The one time that I, figured out that I should was I was long as stock, and then it dumped 80% in like just a couple days. And I thought when it first initially dumped, it dumped like 20% one day. And I thought, oh, it's gonna come back, and I was even thinking of buying more. And then, it dumped out even further the next day, and then I thought, holy crap, like I should have sold a long time ago, right? So no, I didn't even have, like a risk management, system in play. I was just, like I said, a beginner trader, didn't really know what I was doing, trying to learn the ropes, making every mistake, yeah.
I love that you share that with us, because I know there's so much different perspectives out there, right? And a lot of us tend to focus on the Michael Jordan, right? The glorious story, right?
Yeah,
the stories of, the guys who make it in 2 months and stuff like that.
That's a rare occasion in my opinion.
Exactly.
I really been trading, a fair amount of time now. I've met a lot of traders, and I think I've only met like 2 guys that just were, naturally just kind of, I would say gifted, not talented or, skilled. It's just like they just had a knack for trading. They just saw things that came natural to them, That's very rare. Most guys struggle. Most guys go through all the same stuff. That's why a lot of them have the same stories. As different struggles, different things. A lot of them blew up accounts. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. So when you compare to somebody who just like happens to get it in a couple months or 6 months, that's just a rare occasion. That's that's just not something that's common.
It's not realistic.
It really isn't.
We cover a lot of information on trading here on Be The Trader, but none is more important than the broker you choose to execute your trades. There are many reasons I use Cobra Trading every day, including multiple order routes where I can get fast execution, great availability on locates for hard to borrow stocks, and fantastic customer service. But don't just take my word for it. Both Benzinga and Forbes Advisor have awarded Cobra for best in class for short selling and day trading. Isn't it time you choose a great broker that you'll enjoy working with? Sign up now by using the link below, and Cobra will provide you with free software for an entire month, plus 33% off commission for life. I know you'll be as happy as I am when you trade with Cobra. Now let's get back to the show. I know you enjoy meditating, or at least at one point we talked, you mentioned that.
Of course.
When did that come into play? Like, did that come into play? I initially want to say my guess would be when you took those losses and had to go back to work. Like, did you pick up meditation then? Like, when did you pick it up?
That's exactly when I did it, after I blew up the accounts. And I made a lot of changes in my life, man. like I said, I wasn't really happy in my
Right.
personal life. I also had gone through a long-term relationship breakup too. So there was a lot of things going on. And I just thought, I want to better myself. And so I tried to eat up every piece of information that I could. And the main thing that I focused on was just managing money. I wasn't good at managing money. It's like, I saved some money and I had it to trade and, I blew it up. But outside of that, it was like I told you, all my bills were, basically all my income. So it was like I didn't, in and out, not saving anything. So, the meditation part came after blowing up the counts.
Yeah.
And just trying to get my mind right, just trying to stay focused on my goals and what I wanted to accomplish. And that's really how it all, came to be. So,
when you said that you are, you weren't really happy at the time, and you apparently, obviously, you're making some decent money because you were able to save up money to lose, right?
Yeah.
And you had a good income because you were working your ass off. I know you were in sales at a car dealership, which can do really well if you work your butt off. But you said that you weren't happy, and a lot of people associate, happiness with money.
No. I mean, even after, I did say, I had already good income at my job, so it's not like I was doing bad. I was, over six figures.
Yep.
So, yeah, money doesn't equate to happiness at all, especially even after trading. There were moments where I could have gone to make more money, after I did well in trading. But I thought about it and I thought, is, say extra income going to change my life that much? Not really. I just do this, play golf, hang out with my friends, family. So, extra money is not going to change anything. So how is that going to increase my happiness, right?
Yep.
It's not. Now, money does make things easier, right?
Sure.
Like there's things that it makes it a lot easier and takes a little stress off things, but that doesn't mean that you're just going to be automatically happy.
Happy
for
every
sure.
day.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
I'm glad you shared that because some people are only pursuing this because they think it's going to make them happy.
For money, yeah. Let's be honest.
It's
we
right.
all do it because the potential for great money is big.
Yes.
But that does not mean equal happiness. That's not.
It's not.
Yeah, not a thing at all. Like I said, had an opportunity to go make more money and said no, only because I was thinking what changes in my life as far as getting extra income. Outside of making some new friends and maybe getting a little bit more experience in different areas of trading. My life isn't really going to change that much as far as happiness. Yeah. So.
At the beginning you mentioned that you didn't really have a strategy, and I know now you've been training for years and you're consistent, you do your own thing, and you have a strategy. What would you say has changed dramatically from at the very beginning when you're like trying to figure something out and you have your strategy? Would you say that you trade it more now? Like, because you're trying to find new strategies, does that continue, or are you kind of just sticking with one now? Or I'm just curious on, what has changed from the beginning, because at first you probably train all kinds of shit.
I probably traded way more, but I feel like I barely trade now.
Yeah.
But it's things have changed. Even a couple years ago, I was trading more than I am now.
What's changed?
The need to, I guess, feel the need to trade, I guess. Yeah. Understanding that I don't need to trade every day. That I, can just be waiting for my setups. That's a big part of it. I guess, I used to get extremely excited every single morning to get to the market. It didn't even matter if there was a setup. I was just pumped to get to that computer. And now, I don't really have that anymore. Not that I don't love trading. I absolutely love trading. It's just that I don't, feel the need to get up and get to that computer and, I guess force trades. When I first started, I traded everything.
Yes.
I was trading all the time. And I'd make, 20, 30, 40, 50 trades in a day, no problem on intraday. That's not even swings.
Yep.
So nowadays it's like maybe I place a trade on, for the day, maybe I don't. It's really just if there's a setup. That's all.
Would you say, you said that, if I heard you correctly, you said that recently kind of happened where you're not so excited to come to the desk. Is that what you mean? What do you mean by recently?
I think it's because the time, when you first get into trading, it's almost like a drug in a way. You just get you're drawn to it. You're pumped, especially when you first, that first week you start making some trades. Maybe you make some money, and that's just like an adrenaline rush. It's like it brings you back to want to get back into the trading, and over time it's kind of like that I guess like high in a way like fades, and I just don't.
Did I hear you correctly?
That excited.
Would it say like did I understand correctly that it's been like 10 years and now you feel that way, or are you saying that you felt that way?
No, I've probably felt that way for the past couple of years.
Past couple of years? So you take the 2 years break, you save up money again.
Yeah.
What changes besides you save up money and you come back? Does anything change initially, or do you come back with the same mentality? Like what completely changed? Did you come to the market differently? Like what changed when you came back?
That's a good question. The main thing was I just decided I needed a system. I needed something that I could, consistently trade, something that I know has, good odds, just a setup itself. I needed some type of system. I couldn't just come in and do it the way I was doing it and expect, different results, right? So I started tracking, and one of my good buddies, he joined me, and we tracked together and built out data sheets on Excel, and tracked all kinds of different setups to find out exactly how these moved and how we could take advantage of these plays.
So what changed in mentality when you came back to the market after taking that 2 year break?
Change in mentality. Just never really, it's hard to say. I don't know if it was a change. It was more like I just stopped, not believing in myself. Like I always believed in myself. I've always said, I only bet on myself because, I always win when I bet on myself, right? When I bet on other things or bet on other people or whatever, you can't control that. But I can control everything that I do, right? I can control what trades I take. I can control, where I spend my time, who I hang out with. I can control all those things. So it was really just not giving up on myself, just, staying true and working on my, on my craft.
And I think you mentioned what immediately changed, and that's right. You said also tracking.
Tracking, yeah. But you asked about mentality.
That's true. Nice roll, dude. Nice line, too. I can go? Yep. So getting back on what you said earlier, too, about tracking, I really, when you came back from that break, you started tracking right away, taking it a little bit more serious in terms of that aspect. I know people are immediately going to say, like, well, what was he tracking? Find out. Like, what did you track?
I tracked everything. I mean, I mainly just tracked stuff that I thought I saw a lot of, right? Stuff that I kept seeing over and over. And I thought, okay, if I see this pattern multiple times, like maybe there's a strategy that I can build around it. So it was more like not just, tracking random stuff. It was more about, hey, I've seen this happen multiple times. Let's go back to those other tickers. Let's gather a bunch of data and see if I can find something that gives me some type of edge. And I didn't know where I was going to find that edge. I just tracked everything. I tracked, volume, say like time of day, how much, say volume was even traded pre-market, what the gap percentages were, what kind of company it was, what the size of the float was, what sector they were in, if they were in need of cash, if it was a small cap, mid cap, I even broke it down into, those.
Yeah.
If it was, a small cap or mid cap or big cap. So I just tracked everything that I thought was important and what I thought was not important, because if there was some type of consistency, it would show up, right? And I wanted to just gather as much data as possible to try and find that and find some type of edge. And sometimes there was a pattern where I saw multiple times, and then I just couldn't find an edge in it. And so I just, trashed that strategy and, went on to the next one. So
how many strategies did you end up with after doing that?
I want to say like 3 solid ones.
Yep.
And then there was probably 2 or 3 that were just like, okay, sometimes they showed up, sometimes they didn't, but when they did, they worked well. So I kind of like put those on the back burner and just kind of, left those there for when those setups would come. But I mainly just stuck to like 2 or 3 that I knew showed up at least once a week.
Yep.
And, that I could trade on a consistent basis and make money. Yeah.
So you ended up with a couple of strategies, and I know, and what's interesting is you said they, some of them would appear like once a week. Do you think it helped you to trade as frequent as you were trying to in the beginning, or do you think it's better to have that mentality after the experience to maybe at the beginning, instead of trading everything that you could, just only trade that one or two setups?
Yeah, it's kind of a tough question because it's like, everyone wants to start off the right way, right?
Sure.
Like maybe start tracking and like studying the markets, maybe not even placing a trade at all, and just learning the right way. But at the same time, you do need some experience, and I think that's the biggest thing. You need some. I hate to say it, but I think sometimes you need to feel that loss, right? You need to feel that that trading is not easy, and the only way to do that is to place trades and kind of learn from experience, and that's how you fix your mistakes, is by making them and going back and studying how you made that mistake and how you can avoid it, and then start making rules to improve your trading. So like I said, despite me losing money when I first started, and then changing and then starting off the right way from there, I don't think I would change it. I think losing the money and doing all the wrong stuff in the beginning helped me get to where I was later on, or am now. So
speaking of losses, because you mentioned earlier, it's something about taking those trades and learning how to lose and learning how to go through that process.
Yeah.
How did you, for your journey, how did you overcome that? Like, did you have a challenge with losses? Did you have any challenge with like being wrong, even though it was the right setup, you tracked it, it works, but you were still wrong on a play? Like, did that ever interfere with your trading?
No, I wouldn't say it interfered. I think it was more just kind of like a little bit of frustration, where it's like I knew the setup, I knew how it should play out, and it didn't play out that way, and it was that frustration that kind of like drove me. Okay, why didn't it work? What makes this one different from the others that did? And then tried to figure out what happened, and then that would actually kind of help my like my setup or my strategy, because then I could figure out there's some flaws in it, right? And then it would help me pinpoint when that setup would come back around. Maybe it's a different ticker, and I'm like, no, this one's got the same stuff as that one that didn't work, so I should avoid this, even though it looks good. I should avoid this, so it was more like frustration turned into motivation to improve. Yeah.
So Miah, I really appreciate you giving some time. Come out to Austin with you, golf with you, have a good time.
Sure, man.
Before we wrap this up though, I know people are gonna have more questions and they're gonna want more time with you. So where can they find out more information, and what would be your biggest just tip that you can give someone who is getting started tomorrow?
Ooh, getting started tomorrow? If you're getting started tomorrow, just study the market. Don't even open up an account. Don't try and trade. Just start studying the market. Get in front of the computer and start, watching, learning. Pull up a level 2. Just sit in front of the computer and watch. I mean, that's a lot of what us traders do anyways. We're not just hitting buttons all the time. We're not just clicking, trying to place trades. We are watching and waiting and being patient and waiting for the right setup. So, I mean, a lot of it is just sitting and learning and, getting that experience. So that's what I would say. If you're starting tomorrow, just watch the market. Don't do anything. Don't place a trade. Just take the time to, even learn terminology, so when people are talking about trading, they, you understand what they're saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if people want to learn more about you, where can they find out more about you?
The only place I'm on is Twitter, man, or X.
X Twitter.
Yeah.
We'll have a link down
Yeah.
below. But again, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. And again, thanks, Miah, my man.
Pleasure, bro. For
Absolutely.
Sure.